Hey guys, this is Coach Bill with Fat Loss Made Easy. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. And yes, today's Monday. It's just amazing how fast the weekends are going by. Actually, how fast the weeks are going by. I can't believe it's already Monday today. But today, guys, our topic to discuss today is pretty generic. You guys know that I belong to a lot of groups, type 2 diabetic groups, intermittent fasting groups, weight loss groups, keto groups, just all kinds of groups. And this last couple of weeks, I've been noticing a lot of people, a lot of beginners getting on there saying that, they're looking for answers on the easiest way to lose fat or lose weight. First of all, let's not call it losing weight. Let's call it by what it is, losing fat weight. And that's what we should be calling it, fat weight, not losing weight. So a lot of them are trying to find shortcuts or quick fixes to lose that fat weight in a short amount of time, and they don't want to. They don't want to actually get involved in doing the work that it takes, or even understanding the root cause of why they're having such a hard time losing weight, or why once they lose the weight, they put the weight right back on again. And so I just had a phone call from my son. I'll have to wait on it. But anyway, so I want to do this topic real quick because I want everybody to understand. I want to show them an example of what a person who actually did it right. The topic obviously is going to be, does consistency in education pay off when trying to lose fat weight? So that's the topic. And when for us, when we train or when we get somebody new on our online coaching programs or courses or packages, right up front, when we do our free consultation or phone call, I tell them up front what it's going to take. And are they willing to actually do what it takes? Because I obviously want to see them be successful in losing their fat weight, but also I don't want them to waste their time or my time if they're not that serious. And so right up front, we tell them that there's some factors involved you need to understand before you even get started. And obviously it's going to be, are you motivated? Are you willing to go the extra mile or the extra step to be consistent with the program or the course or the package? And at least give it 90 to 120 days of your commitment. I tell them right up front, there's no shortcut, guys, and there's no quick fix pill or there's no fad diet out there that's going to work. It's the old ancient scientific meal plan that's been around for over 2,000 years. That's what works. That's what's going to work. So what I like to explain to them is that, first of all, you need to understand why you're changing your lifestyle or why you're changing your meals to a higher good dietary fat, low carb meals, and why you're going to be combining it with intermittent fasting and alternate day fasting. And so I want them to know that there's some educational training books that you're going to need to read, take the time and view them, because it really won't make sense what you're doing unless you understand why you're doing it and look at the science behind it and why it's worked for over 2,000 years and why it's still working today. And now health professionals and doctors are now realizing that this is the healthiest way to go. And so more and more of the health professionals and doctors are actually jumping on board because both the programs, high good dietary fat and low carb meal plan, and the intermittent fasting, combining them, there's some huge health advantages to that for many disease models, which is proven by science. And so, with the right meal plan and combining it with intermittent fasting along with alternate day fasting, and being consistent and fully understand how the program works, and do not forget being honest. You got to be honest with yourselves, guys. Don't jump into this unless you're truly motivated and you really want to learn. That's what this is all about. By the time you're done with the course of the package, after 90 to 120 days, you'll be educated enough to actually know more than most of the gym personal trainers out there, and actually you're going to know more than most of the nutritionists out there as well, because this stuff that you'll be learning is not taught in schools. They don't teach it in schools, which is sad because, like I said, they always say follow the science. Well, they're not following the science. So what I'm going to, here's an example. This is an example of a person who followed one of my courses, and she legitimately stayed consistent. She was very focused, and she asked a lot of questions. She also, there's actually 13 training books that each one of my clients get to help educate them on the different factors that are involved to not only lose the fat weight, but keep it off for the rest of your life. And there's meal plans and the reason why these meal plan works. And she actually reviewed all the training books in a short amount of time. Now, I, of course, tell them don't try to jump in and review them all at once, because you don't want to get yourself confused. You want to take your time and go through the books individually and try and absorb what the training books are trying to say to you. By the way, this is my high calorie day. So I'm drinking my fat protein coffee today. This is in between my last meal and my dinner meal, so I get some extra fat and protein in today, and a little extra calories also. And so this young lady, just in a short, just over 3 months, when she was going through the process of the courses, and she legitimately kept sending me her ketone levels and her glucose levels. Periodically would send me pictures of the meals she was eating and what good dietary fat she added to those meals. And her numbers stayed very consistent. And so from the very first ketone level and glucose level, which were obviously not where we want them when you first start, but she consistently kept dropping her glucose levels, and her ketone levels consistently kept going up, which is telling me that she's becoming more fat adapted, which means that we were switching her body from using carbohydrates as its primary fuel to actually using her own fat stores as her primary fuel. The carbohydrates that she did have during the meals became a secondary energy source. And so she was very consistent month after month. And now by the end of the third month, she entered fat adaptation and even got into therapeutic autophagy a few days a week, which showed by her composition and her clothes that she was losing the belly fat and body fat pretty fast. And this was all being done naturally, not with supplements or any kind of, fat burners or pills or anything like that. She was doing it all with the types of food she was eating. And then after the first couple of weeks, we moved her into intermittent fasting. And then when her numbers stayed consistent, improving, then we moved her into alternate day fasting. Now she's doing longer fastings on her fasting days, up to 23 to 24 hours, and she's blowing right through them with no cravings or any cravings. She's pretty fat adapted now, because she's able to once a week have what they call a cheat day, but it's just a higher calorie day, and she's able to have some of the comfort foods that she wasn't consuming during the beginning of the process. Now that's the key factor, is that she did not consume refined starchy carbs until her numbers were consistent and until she was in fat adaptation. And what's happening now is, if she decides to have one cheat meal, three times or once or twice a week, then because she is now fat adapted, her body will go back into fat burning within 2 or 3 hours after that cheat meal. But I just wanted to let you know, you guys that follow me know that I like to post stuff called client wins. When something happens with one of our clients and it's a great improvement on their progress, I like to post it so people know that this ancient way of dieting, if that's what you want to call it, actually is working, and it's actually doing what science says it does. And this is the comment that I got from her a couple of days ago. And what she wrote to me was, she said, "Bill, I woke up with a completely flat stomach, something I haven't seen in a couple years. Coach, thank you." Well, the reason why she woke up with this flat stomach in such an early phase of her progress is because she was consistent. So many people are trying to lose that weight without putting the consistency into it and not fully understanding why they have to be consistent. See, that's why you have to review these training books that I've published, so that you fully understand what happens to your body when you're not consistent. And the biggest issue is your hormones, because weight gain is driven by your hormones. And of course, imbalanced hormones, or the hormone that's totally out of control, is driven by the types of foods you eat and how often you eat. And so she understood. And then she was not afraid to ask questions. You got to ask. If you don't quite understand something, ask a question, so that we both can get together and figure it out. But she did. She wasn't afraid to, and she was like a sponge. She wanted to learn all that she could learn, and so that's why she took the time to review these training books, and now she understands how the process works, and how, by not being consistent and thinking, some people call it, I'm going to do semi-keto. What does semi-keto mean? You might as well not even do it, because obviously you're not ready to do it. I mean, if you're looking to really lose that fat weight and you're looking to do it in a short amount of time, then I don't know where this semi-keto even came from. It just makes me cringe when they come back and say, well, we're doing 2 or 3 or 4 cheat meals a day and we're losing all this weight. That might work at first, but it's not going to last, guys. Your it just doesn't work that way. So why not do it right the first time? Give yourself 90 to 120 days to be consistent. And if you do that, and you've got the right meal plan, and you find out the right foods that work best for you and keeps you in fat burning 24/7, that's why you have to monitor your glucose and ketones. You're not going to know. I mean, the foods I eat may not work for you. So The only way we know if the foods you're eating are actually putting you in fat burning is your glucose readings and your ketone readings. I don't see how anybody could even do a weight or fat loss program without doing that. I don't see how they can even do it. So I just wanted to let you guys know what happens when people do focus on their consistency and do take the time to educate themselves, because the education will last you for the rest of your life. You'll never forget it. And by doing this, this won't be a short-term weight loss like most of the public here in the United States. They lose all this weight and then they gain it back. And those of you that have done that, you know when you gain it back, it's even harder the next time to lose it. So you're on a consistent yo-yo effect, and not understanding why you're on that yo-yo, what happens, and that will cause you to keep doing the same thing over and over. And obviously, here in the United States, these so-called fad diets, or these diets that tell you have to eat 6-7 times a day, they're not working, because this country is still has an issue with obesity as an epidemic in the young and old, and this country is still have a epidemic in type 2 diabetes. As a matter of fact, in the last year and a half, 2 years of this COVID, type 2 diabetic, I think, tripled from what I'm seeing so far. I mean, I'm seeing 2, 3, 4 people every day on social media on these type 2 diabetic sites are posting, my husband that was just diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, or my wife was just diagnosed with pre-diabetes. There's no pre-diabetes. Pre-diabetes is just a type 2 diabetes. That's what it is. So when somebody says they're pre-diabetic, they need to be honest with themselves. They're diabetics. And the longer they're a diabetic, the deeper they get into it, the higher the blood sugar goes, and the worse the side effects begin to happen. Okay, guys? So, guys, the conclusion to this is, if you guys want to really lose that fat weight, stay consistent. Don't make excuses. Be honest with yourself. Educate yourself on the root cause of what's causing it. And I actually will guarantee that if you do that, give yourself, like I said, 90, 120, 180 days. I tell people to give themselves 6 months to a year. And you will enjoy it, and your body will really enjoy it. Okay? Hope you guys got some value on this. And that's it for the day. You guys have a great Monday. And I'll see you guys at the next video. Have a good one. Bye.